Alright. The name is Dale. I'm doing a review of Captain Marvel, the movie. I'm also going to do a quick review on two movies that actually came out last year, 2018, and went under the radar that I didn't see until recently. They should get more shine of light. And those two movies are American Animals and Upgrade. And I'm also going to do a very quick recommendation section of this clip for things you should watch on Netflix. And these reviews and recommendations are done on behalf of Audio Liquor Mag, Audio Liquor Magazine. I'm going to start off with Captain Marvel. This is the first female-led solo movie in the MCU. You had Ant-Man and the Wasp last year, but this is the first solo flick for a female in this universe. And there have been different variations of this character through the comic book run. This character is based on a comic book. You had male versions, and you also had, of course, female versions. You even had a black female version that was created in the 80s. And I believe the first version of this character, which was a man, was created in the 60s by Stan Lee and those good folks. Rest in peace to Stan Lee. Other characters went by different names. Miss Marvel, Marvel. And I first became aware of Captain Marvel in the 80s as a kid. I grew up in an all-black neighborhood apartment complex. And there were only like two other kids that collected comics besides myself. Wasn't too many black kids back then collecting comics. And I can say that with some certainty because back then we all interacted with each other. You know, it was a rather big complex. Not that big, but big enough. But we all went outside, we all, you know, interacted with each other. Not like today where kids don't really go outside as much, or they only know the person in their building or in their section of the apartment complex. So it was only like a few of us that were into comics, and I first became aware of this character through my folks. Charles, my brother from another mother, he had the graphic novel The Death of Captain Marvel, which was another man version, and that was my first time even seeing a graphic novel. I'd never seen a comic book that thick. It was like a book. And I was used to the thin ones that I would get. My mother would get me from 7-Eleven. We didn't have any comic book stores in my area at the time that I knew of. So that's how I became aware of Captain Marvel. I never collected any runs myself. I only happened to catch the character making appearances in Spider-Man comic books or in the Avengers comic books themselves. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get on to the movie. The movie is about, of course, Captain Marvel is played by Brie Larson. She's won an Oscar in the past, so she's considered a very good actress. She becomes the universe's most powerful force when Earth is caught in the middle of this galactic war between two alien races. One race is called the Kree. The other race is called the Skrull. And in the process, she discovers her true past. She gets her true identity, so to speak, which in a sense is her origin story. This is basically an origin story. And the film is set in the 90s. This is like the first prequel in the MCU. So I thought Brie Larson was okay as Captain Marvel. Not bad, not nothing great. The other cast consists of Samuel L. Jackson reprising his role as a younger version of Nick Fury before the eye patch. You got Ben Mendelsohn, who plays the leader of the Skrull army. He's the best part of this movie. He does a really good job. He's not your typical villain. I thought he was going to be your run-of-the-mill generic villain, but he's not. You got Jude Law who's in the movie. Clark Gregg, who reprises his role as a young Agent Clarkson. You might know him from S.H.I.E.L.D. He was in the first Avengers movie. If you watch the TV show S.H.I.E.L.D., then you know who I'm talking about. It's an entertaining movie, funny at times, most of the jokes land. The action and special effects are solid. Nothing great, nothing special. When I saw the trailers for this movie, it didn't impress me. But being that it's in the MCU, I was going to go see it anyway. They haven't made, outside of the first 2 Thor movies, they haven't made anything that I didn't care for. So they have a good track with me. And I also really wanted to see it due to the connection between the connection it has with Avengers Infinity War and the new Avengers movie that's coming out in April, at the end of April, called Endgame. All 3 of these movies have a strong connection. The connectivity is well through these 3 movies. They weave through these 3 movies. So I pretty much felt like I had to see it, in a sense. It's a good chance that Captain Marvel is going to play a big role in Endgame. So that was another reason I had to see it. If you see Infinity War and you recall the post-credit scene, it teases what you might see in the future from this movie and Endgame. So as a solo Marvel movie, I would say I would give this movie a B-. It's watchable, it's entertaining, but it really doesn't blow you away. It didn't blow me away anyway. How I would rank it between the other movies, solo movies, is not better than Doctor Strange in my opinion. It's not better than the first Ant-Man. It's not better than Black Panther. It's not better than the first Iron Man. I would say it's better than Thor, the first Thor. I would maybe say it's a little better than the first Captain America. Maybe they about even, but it doesn't have a high ranking in my list of MCU movies. But if you're into this whole cinematic universe, it's like 20 movies deep by now, then I feel you should go see it. Oh, I forgot. I mentioned a black female version of Captain Marvel earlier in the review. Well, they teased that character in this new Captain Marvel movie. So you might get that version of Captain Marvel / Miss Marvel in future MCU movies. She might be part of the new phase of the Avengers, the new team. She might get her own solo movie in the future. So that was a nice Easter egg. That was a nice tease to what this possibly could come in the future. Captain Marvel is making a lot of money at the box office. It's doing much better than I expected. I expected to do well, but not this well. So we're gonna move on to this movie that I saw recently that actually came out last year, the summer of last year, I believe, 2018, called American Animals. This was a very good movie. I did not expect it to be as good as it is. The movie is based on a true story. It's about these 4 college students, male college students, who decide to pull a heist in this university, the library of the university, where they attempt to steal this very rare book. The book is called The Birds of America, and it's worth a lot of money, of course. I thought the direction style of this movie was very unique. It had elements of a documentary because they actually interviewed the 4 students who are now grown men in this movie. And it's like, while their story is getting acted out, they come in at certain parts and tell what was going on during certain scenes. They don't do it too much, but they do it just enough to give it that feel. And I thought that was a very good idea, very, very different. I had never seen anything like that before. The movie is very funny, but it's not a comedy. All four actors did a great job with their performance. I can't think of none of their names off the top of my head right now, but I know one guy, he played Quicksilver in the X-Men universe, and he also played in a couple of seasons in American Horror Story, that TV series that's on FX. I don't know his name. And then the other guy, I recall seeing him in this movie called The Edge of 17. And the other guy, he plays in this Netflix series called The Travelers. I believe that's the name. So, but all the guys do a great job acting with their performance. I highly recommend this movie. It should have got Oscar nominations. It failed. This is criminally under the radar. It should have got noms for Best Movie of the Year. Should have got nominations for. The director should have got a nomination for Best Director. It's that good, so check it out. I saw it on cable. I know a lot of folks don't have cable. They cut the cord, but I'm sure there's other ways you can see it. And now I'm going to talk about this movie called Upgrade, which I happened to see recently as well. That came out last year. I believe it came out the summer of last year, 2018, as well. I give American Animals an A. That's an A grade, by the way. Upgrade is a sci-fi action flick. It's set in the near future where technology controls nearly all aspects of life. The main character, I can't remember his name from the movie, but he's played by this actor named Logan Marshall Green, who's been in several things. He was in Prometheus. He was in this Cinemax series called Quarry, which only lasted a year. It was very good. It got canceled, I guess, because nobody watched Cinemax, but not for a series anyway. And his character is like against all this technology that's going on, but his world gets turned upside down. So in order to get revenge, he needs a experimental computer chip that's implanted in him, and it's called STEM. And this reminded me of Venom. I really didn't see that connection until I was talking to one of my folks, Tony, about the movie. He pointed that out, so I'm still in his point of view. But it is like Venom in a sense, where in Venom it was like an alien taking over this human body, where this is more like a computer program that's taking over his body. And he talks with STEM like it's two different people having a conversation. So that's where the similarities between that and Venom come in. And that was the most interesting part of this movie. Him having conversations with this computer chip, him debating with the computer chip on what they should do, what they shouldn't do. It's a very good movie. It was a pleasant surprise. Didn't expect it to be that good. The action is well done. And the end of the movie totally threw me off. I didn't see the end coming. Has a nice twist. It's violent. It is a violent movie. It's rated R. It's very violent. But the violence is done in a very good way. Well executed. So I highly recommend you see Upgrade. And if you have Netflix, you need to watch Killer Mike's. Trigger warning, it has 6 episodes. Killer Mike is a rapper who got his start with Outkast, the group Outkast. He had success solo, and now he's with this guy named LP. They formed a duo, Run the Jewels, and they make some good music. But this Netflix series is not about music. What Killer Mike does, he takes these different scenarios and try to impose them and actually go through with them. He has one episode where he tries to just buy strictly stuff from black-owned companies or black-owned businesses. So you know off the top that's a challenge. And he has another episode where he feels that people need to learn more trades like plumbing, being a carpenter, electrical work. So he comes up with this idea to make, because they have these clips on YouTube where you can learn how to do all that stuff, but he feels people don't watch them as much as they should, so he tries to make them more interesting by having sex within these educated, these instructional video clips on how to fix a plugged up toilet or something, and he puts sex in it. It's very funny, very interesting. And he had another episode where he tries to put the Crips and Bloods in business, like make a soda company, which I thought was genius. That was a very good episode. The only episode I didn't care for was the last one, where he tries to have his own nation, like New Africa. It kind of felt like that reality show Big Brother that my wife watches. It felt a little too much like a reality show, even though all six episodes are basically a reality show on Netflix, but that felt too much like one. I didn't really care for that one. But anyway, I highly recommend that. I recommend you also watch this 6-episode horror zombie series called The Kingdom. It's like the zombie apocalypse set in ancient Asia. So picture like them old kung fu flicks you used to watch, where they used to have the long ponytails, but there's no martial arts or nothing in here, just basically sword fighting. But picture a zombie apocalypse during that time. It's a very good series. I didn't think it was going to be any good. I really enjoyed it. I binged it. I couldn't stop watching it. And the last episode really ends on a serious cliffhanger. So I'm geeking to see the next season. It's in all subtitles, no English. So if you don't have the patience or the time or the attention to focus on the subtitles, unless you know how to speak that language already, this might not be for you, but it's so good that it had my attention. I didn't mind the subtitles. So there you have it. I'm done. I'm finished. This is a rather long review, but I had to do it anyway. So there you go.